Hi, I'm Nikki Keane from Keen on Rentals, Property Managers. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the things to think about when you're considering purchasing a rental property. One of the things to look at when you're investigating properties that might be on the market for sale is, are they compliant with current legislation around renting? So, are the building codes up to date? Does the property have the appropriate consents in place for rental accommodation? Does it have smoke alarms installed, and are they of the correct type to comply with the requirements under the Residential Tenancies Act? Is the property insulated? And if so, does it meet the minimum standards that are required for rental properties? Another thing to think about are tenancies that might be in place for properties that are being offered on the market for sale. If they're already rented, there may be a tenant in place already. Wherever possible, you want to look for vacant possession as part of your sales transaction. That means you're not at risk of inheriting a problem tenant along with purchasing the property. You will, during the process of the sales cycle, have the opportunity to review the current tenancy agreement, potentially to meet the tenants that are there, and if you think it's appropriate, you can offer them the opportunity to enter into a new rental agreement with you as the new landlord when you take possession of the property. But if for whatever reason you don't feel that's appropriate, if you ask for vacant possession, then you don't have to keep the tenants with the property. The only time when this wouldn't apply is when there is a fixed term tenancy agreement in place. In that case, the tenants have the right to remain in the property even when it changes ownerships for the duration of the fixed term in their tenancy agreement. As the landlord, you will take them on as the new tenant, and when their contract expires, then you have the option about whether you want to enter into a new contract with them or to let the contract expire and they will leave the property at that time. Another key thing to consider when you're looking at the prospect of becoming a landlord is, are you going to look after this tenancy and this property yourself, or do you need the services of a professional property manager? And that comes down to a couple of things. Firstly, how familiar are you with the Residential Tenancies Act, its terms and conditions and the current amendments and the updates that are coming in? There's quite a lot happening in this space at the moment. And the main thing is, do you have the time? Most of us who are landlords also have other jobs and other responsibilities. So do you have the time available to do what it takes to keep tenancies in place and keep your investment property returning a good income for you? That means looking at tenant recruitment and screening when you've got new tenants to put in place and the time that it takes. Once tenants are in place, maintaining their rent records and keeping them up to date. Following up on anything that might be a missed rent payment or maintenance issues that arise in the property. They can be routine issues like getting the gutters cleaned on a regular basis or getting the chimney cleaned before fires are put in place for winter. Or it can be an urgent thing like the hot water cylinder has burst at 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon and the house is flooded. You need to find a plumber really quickly. Do you have access to those tradespeople that you can call on at short notice to be able to follow up and do jobs at your property? They're very short supply at the moment, tradespeople, and therefore having your own network is a really important thing as a landlord. Are you able to visit the property on a regular basis to conduct inspections? That means reassuring yourself about the condition that the property is being maintained in by the tenants, and also looking at the property itself, and is there anything that you need to do as a landlord to keep it up to scratch? And being responsive to your tenants when they raise issues. Do you have the time and the capacity to do those things? So these are all things to consider when you're making that decision about whether you're going to be a landlord yourself or whether you need to look at engaging the services of a professional. Either way, being a landlord is a really fun thing to do and it's very, very rewarding. So good luck with your search.